Welcome to Offer You Stories, where we want you to think different so you act different. Let's go. Someone with No One, Chapter 15, The Beginning. I practiced dozens of times, but by the time I got off the bus, I still had no idea what I would say to Chantel. A part of me wanted to talk about our relationship. Some of me wanted to talk about my father. And to my surprise, I even had questions about the whole church thing. Her mother answered the door and reacted differently than usual. Instead of her questioning eyes, she had ones of compassion. Langston? Hello, Miss Mitchell. Is Chantel here? Yes, baby. I'll go get her. I could hear voices behind the door, but I could not understand them. I'm sure they talked about my appearance, but I didn't let it stop me from staying. It's a good thing I didn't settle on anything to say, because the sight of her would have made me forget anyway. Her beauty had always been the simple kind, and seeing her with her hair pulled back in a ponytail, shorts, and USC jersey made it clearer than ever. She smiled, and something rushed inside of me so quickly I didn't have time to stop it. I learned to disregard my father's advice, but I pretty much agreed with him on his philosophy on crying. Tears were the ultimate sign of weakness. It meant whatever depressed you, defeated you to the point where you could do nothing but cry about it. You lost. All of the pain in my life, especially the pain caused by him, never got me to the point where I cried. Crying would be like giving up. Sure, I cried when my mother died, but she was gone, so those tears were acceptable. I came close a few other times, but I never let anything defeat me. This is what made me feel strong, like I could handle anything the world brought at me. But the moment I saw her, I threw his philosophy out with the rest of him and surrendered. I melted into her arms with no regard to any rule about crying. We moved to the bench on the porch where I buried my head in her shoulder. She rubbed the back of my head, and with every stroke, I became more and more able to speak through the tears. I started off by telling her how much I missed her, and eventually got to all of the stuff with my father. I told her about how good it felt while I was kicking him, and the uncertainty of him walking away the last time. She let me get it all out before speaking. I've been thinking that I might have made a mistake by handling things the way that I did, but after what you just told me, it all makes sense now. Her saying this mess made sense caught me off guard, and I moved away from her. She gave me a chance to wipe my eyes and then explain. When I first realized I needed to learn more about God, I was with my mother and we were in our car listening to a sermon by this pastor from Inglewood. Normally, I would have played my music, but my phone died, so I had no choice but to listen. The preacher talked about sperm and eggs and how thousands of sperm try to fertilize one egg at the exact right time in order to make a person. What he wanted us to know is that none of us are here by accident, and we all have a purpose in life. He must have repeated, "Nothing is by accident. Nothing is by accident." He must have said it at least 10 times, and I realized even me forgetting to charge my phone happened for a reason, because nothing is by accident. She finished her sentence and the door behind me opened. We turned and saw her mother, with the closest thing to a smile I had ever seen from her. "Would you like to take a shower and go to church with us tonight?" she asked. I could do nothing but smile. While in the shower, things started to come together like a puzzle. Chantel breaking up with me, the raggedy doll, the hero for her father, the words of the old man. It was hard to make sense of it when you looked at them separately, but when you put them all together, it seemed more like a plan. Even though a lot of it came into focus, one piece of the puzzle still baffled me. If God loved me so much, why did he stick me with my father? All of my father's craziness replayed in my mind, and by the time I went to meet Chantel, my revulsion returned and pushed everything else to the side. She noticed the change and asked about it. "What's wrong?" "I hate my father," I blurted out. Chantel didn't say anything for a while, but eventually spoke. "I don't know what it's like to get beat up by your parents, but I did see my father beat up my mother," she said. If I close my eyes and think hard enough, I can still hear her scream and the plates crashing against the wall. For the longest time, I hated him for treating her so bad. And to be honest, I don't even know if I forgive him now. But I do know hating him made me worse off, and my life is better since I want to forgive him. I may not have forgiven him, but I want to. Unlike Chantel, I didn't have to close my eyes to see my father's rage because I had the scars to remind me. I didn't have to think to hear screams because my own echoed in my mind, whether I wanted them to or not. If forgiving my father is something God wanted, he wanted too much. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, tell somebody else about us, and do what needs to get done. Peace.